Hey, show that picture of Nanny and Pawpaw. I want y'all to meet my nanny. This is my mama's parents, Nanny and Pawpaw. That is Pawpaw on the right. And that is Nanny on the left. And back in the 30s, a preacher was going door to door visiting, and he knocked on their door at 911 Prince in Houston, Texas, and led Pawpaw to the Lord. And then Pawpaw told Nanny she's gonna get saved, and we think she did. And my mama met my daddy in that church. It was the Berean Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. Brother H. Frank Fort was our pastor. I grew up in that church and used to go to choir practice. Mama would be in the choir, and I'd be exploring the old sanctuary. I had a wonderful time in that church. And I was asleep on Nanny's arm, 1963. I was 5 years old, and Brother Fort was preaching on Sunday morning, and all of a sudden he had a stroke on his third point, and he died. And he always said he wanted to die preaching, and he got to. And so the committee got together. You know, the Independent Baptists, they do everything by committee, and so they got together. And you know what a committee, you know what a camel is? It's a horse that was built by a committee. So they started searching for a new preacher, and they found this young fella right out of cemetery, and he came to our church and started preaching that we were gonna have to go through the Great Tribulation in a Baptist church. We was counting on the rapture. Well, my daddy didn't want to go through the Great Tribulation. So we crossed the street and joined a Baptist church that was going in the rapture. We sure did. We did. And I always felt sorry for those people at the old church having to go through that tribulation when they could have walked across the street. But I grew up loving harmony. My Nanny and Pawpaw, we'd drive out into the country to go get cheese and pig's feet and crackers. Pickled pig's feet, you gotta try them. We'd drive out and I'd stand. That's back in the day when you could stand. You didn't have to be buckled in. You're little enough to stand in the front seat. You know, we care too much about our children these days. That was so fun. And remember when you would sleep under that back window? You'd get arrested for that now. Oh, it was so warm there. I was standing in the middle. Nanny would be singing lead, and Pawpaw would be singing harmony, and I'd be trying to sing something. And I remember those memories. I fell in love with harmony. And then I joined the Gaither Vocal Band. In 1992, I was walking around the quartet convention with Michael English, and a little lady ran up to me and said, "I want you to hear my kids sing," and stuck a cassette in my hand. And you know, that happens a lot. You gotta do that when you're getting started. You better give out your CDs and cassettes or whatever you got, because how's anybody gonna know you exist if you don't give it to them? But you songwriters, listen, be careful when you go up to give someone your song. Don't say God gave you this song. Because usually after we hear it, we realize he gave it to you because he didn't want it. Be careful what you blame on God. But that was not the case this particular day. The little lady who came up to me with the cassette tape was the Martins' mama. It was. And so Michael English, who was with me, said, "Man, I've heard they're real good. Let's go to the bus and listen to them." So we went to the bus, listened to it, and then tell what happened.
A couple of weeks later, Michael called us and said, "We really liked what we heard, and we'd like to be a part of what you guys are doing. First thing we want to do is introduce you to Bill Gaither," which was an answer to our mother's prayer. Our mom taught us to sing, and she would pray over us. She still prays over us, and she prays out loud, walking around the house. And so I can remember, like it was yesterday, she would pray out loud, "Oh God, please let Bill Gaither hear my kids sing." Well, Mark and Michael made that happen. So they said, "The best chance we have at getting you in front of Bill is go with us to one of the tapings." He had just started doing the videos, and so they were doing a new video in Indiana. Go with us, and we'll see if he has time. No promises, but we're gonna take the shot. So we made the trip to Indiana, and the night before the taping began, they were gathered in a church there in Anderson. And we were...
I mean, all of them. Howard,
Yes.
Vestal, all of them were alive then.
They were, yes.
Now you watch those videos, it's just dead, 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 dead. Me, dead, dead. Bill Gaither, almost dead, dead, dead. Oh, I told Bill if he didn't hurry up, Vestal's gonna think he didn't make it. Well, you know it's the truth.
So anyway, so they're all gathered in the auditorium around the piano rehearsing the songs for the next day's taping. Well, we were in the lobby watching it through the little windows in
We
the
were
doors.
only invited by Mark, and that didn't mean nothing.
That's right. So we're in the lobby minding our own business, and Gloria walks into the lobby. And when she walks into the lobby, Mark says, "Will you please listen to these kids sing?" And she graciously agreed. And so Mark found the first room that was unlocked when he pushed the door open. And
The
we went-
ladies' restroom.
Yes. Honest.
Well, the acoustics are so
They
good
are
in there.
good. They're really good. That's true. And so we walked into the ladies' restroom.
We sang "He Leadeth Me"
And we sang.
in the restroom.
We did. We sang "He Leadeth Me" for Gloria and Michael and Mark and a couple other friends that were gathered there with us. And evidently she told Bill what she had heard. And so the next day, we were at the taping and we were in one of the offices just watching everything happen on the television monitor. And right before they took a break for lunch. Now, granted, we had never met Bill. Bill had never heard us sing. And all of a sudden, we're watching, and he says, "Where are those Martin kids?" And I immediately got diarrhea.
Oh, Joyce!
I was
Joyce.
scared.
Can we edit that?
No.
So we took her back in the ladies' restroom.
I was so, that's right, I was so nervous. Well, we were scared to death. We were kids.
Yeah,
And there we are in that room with all those people. And he said, "Sing that song you sang for Gloria."